Shabbat Shalom. So welcome everybody to our GUCI Camp Shabbat. I have the honor tonight of sharing the bima with Charlie Bloomer. So Charlie was the head song leader at camp this summer, and he came down from Cincinnati, and I appreciate the ability to flip-flop tonight because we found out around 4-something that his car battery was not working. So luckily we have AAA who came down and gave him a new car battery, and here he is. So I am really happy that all of you are here, and those of you who are joining us online, Shabbat Shalom, that we have members of our congregation, really the most important members of our congregation in my eyes, because they are our future, right? We always talk about the door of a door, and we always need the next generation to be the ones to carry the torch, or in our case, the menorah. So guys, we're counting on you, but I know you're all off to a great start because you have a wonderful camp experience where you learn about Judaism every day. Even though you don't know you're learning, you're having a great time, and you're living Jewish lives. So I also want to thank Travis for streaming tonight. And everybody, I hope, has a handsheet. Thanks to Harper and Riley for handing them out. There's a front and a back, and I'll let you know when we need them. And so we're going to start on page 10 with the singing of Hine Matov, as we recognize how great it is when we're together and when we come together as brothers and sisters.
Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim sheverachim gam. Sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov. Sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Sheverachim gam yachad. One more time, hine matov. Tov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad.
So I invite the GUCI moms up now to lead us in the lighting of the Shabbat candles. We'll continue on page 3 as the moms come forward.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
So these are all the moms that both have the joy of sending their kids to camp, the sadness when they drop them off, and sometimes tears, but then also those evenings when they're like, I have time for myself, right? So Shabbat Shalom to all of you, and thank you for your commitment to sending your kids to GUCI. So it's now my pleasure to invite Calvin George to the bima.
Every day at camp there was an announcement telling us it is time for dinner. At the pool, a whistle told us it is time to get out of the water. The barhu also tells us something. It tells us it is time to pray. We are ready to pray. We ready ourselves to pray in the beginning of the service by singing and reading selections from the prayer book. When we're ready to pray, we are more focused on the words we are saying.
So I now invite Harper and Riley to open the ark, and I invite everyone to take out your handsheet. The first item is the Baruch Hu that we will be chanting tonight, and all the tunes we're using tonight are GUCI favorites.
Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yai lai. Yai lai lai 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 lai.
Please be seated.
I am Harper Klein. Roll into Dark is a prayer talking about nature, creation, and the earth. Nature is beautiful. It holds animals, trees, mushrooms, etc. Let us sustain this by not polluting. God created us and this world. Without him, we would not be here today. Let us honor that. The earth holds us, our pets, and loved ones. Let it stay this way. Thank you for your time.
God created the earth and he created trees, and we can't live without trees. So that's why there's a holiday to say thanks to them. It's called Arbor Day. It's a day to celebrate the trees in the sense we can't live without trees, and God created the earth, and that proves that we can't live without God. So Arbor Day is basically giving thanks to the world and God. So that's why Arbor Day is such an important holiday.
So thank you, Harper and Riley. And they were both first-year campers this year. And I was lucky enough to be the faculty member assigned to their unit. So I got to see them every day, and I got big hugs, and it was a lot of fun being with them. And I just want to say that I also was a unit head years ago at Henry S. Jacobs Camp, a Euro J camp in Mississippi, for Riley's mom. So just saying, Lador Vador, right? You never know. So, and here we are in Louisville, Kentucky. So our next prayer the girls talked about was leads into Ma'ariv Aravim, which is we're going to sing the one put to music, Roll Into Dark. It's number 2 on your song sheet, and I invite you to join along with us. And I invite Seth to come on up. Seth plays the ukulele, and he also took music chug at camp, and so he is going to accompany Charlie with this song.
Roll
Into dawn,
roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Hooray, yom v'layla. Pick your favorite part. Roll into dawn, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dawn, roll into light. Night becomes day. Everybody roll into dark. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Nice job, Seth and Charlie. The next prayer that we're going to sing together is Ahavat Olam. It's a prayer that talks about God's love for us and that God expressed this love by giving us the Torah. Page 32, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Amcha Avta. Torah u'mitzvot
So we're going to continue with Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith, reminding ourselves and declaring that there's one God in heaven and earth. I invite the congregation to rise, and Seth will be accompanying Charlie with this song as well.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We're going to continue on page 36 with the chanting of Yahavta, and I invite Seth to my podium to lead us in the chanting.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרת מאוד על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So Seth will be back on the bima on November 11th when he stands before our congregation as a bar mitzvah. This next reading was written by a camper who's not able to participate in our service, but this is what they wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a prayer that represents freedom. It's a prayer that resonates deeply with those who have experienced the joy of feeling free at camp. This prayer is a celebration of the liberation of our people from bondage, and to me, the transformative power of the camp experience. It reminds us that true freedom is not just the absence of constraints, but the empowerment to be ourselves and pursue our passions without fear. It calls for a society that embraces diversity and advocates for the rights and liberties of all. Let us carry the lessons of camp with us and work towards a world where freedom is a living reality for everyone. We continue now with the singing of Mi Chamocha, which can be found on page 40.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osei felet, nora tehilot, osei felet, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai.
Let's hear a lot of clapping.
Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
It is now my pleasure to invite Noah Chotner, Carson Blumenthal, and Audrey Hurt to the bima.
The Hashkivenu is about the way God protects us during the night. Nighttime at camp is either calm or nuts, at least for my cabin. There's really no in between. You might sleep, you might be laughing, or you might invade cabin 15, only on final night though. Whatever you might be doing, God is watching over us. Shabbat Shalom.
My prayer is the Hashkivenu prayer. It's about God protecting us at night. One of the best nights at camp is bunk night, in my opinion. Which we have twice during our month at camp. Bunk nights are really fun and enjoyable because I feel more connected to my cabin mates on those nights. Some activities we did on bunk night are making clothes out of black garbage bags and then having a shaving cream fight. We also painted a design on a black t-shirt using a brush with bleach on it. The bleach turned the design orange. Last year we had a war between all the cabins in my unit using water balloons, washable paint, shaving cream, icing, and sprinkles. I had an amazing time and I remember that night forever. I feel safe and protected when I'm at camp. Camp is my happy place.
So one of the campers who is not here tonight is Nora Sequel because she's not feeling well. So I'll be reading on behalf of her, and she goes to Camp in Frankel. I enjoy the nighttime, but I wish I had more energy. At Camp in Frankel, after dinner, we head to evening programs. After enjoying myself, I tend to feel exhausted. I am shocked that some of my cabin mates still have spirit as they run back to our cabin. One of my cabin mates especially has a lot of energy, and she seems to spread that across the cabin. After we get ready for bed, it's usually quiet in the cabin, and we join on the floor for cabin closing. Occasionally, we gather on the tennis courts and look up at the stars. I appreciate this time when the stars are out and it's just us and nature. I can hear the crickets and birds chirp. Time at camp is often full of activities, but at night we can spend time with our close friends and cabin mates.
Thank you, Carson, Audrey, and Noah for reading on behalf of Nora. So as we know, as they said, Hashkivenu is our prayer that we say at night that asks God to watch over us and keep us safe. So I invite you to the second side of our handout for the singing of Hashkivenu by Dan Nichols. It's my pleasure to invite Noah Chotner to the podium.
The Shamru is about Shabbat. On the first 6 days, God worked and created the world, and on the seventh day, it was Shabbat and he relaxed. The first 6 days at camp, the schedules are pretty much the same, and we have regular services and normal song session. But on Shabbat, we have Shabbat services and Shabbat song session, which is a lot more fun. And it's also a lot longer than normal song session. Speaking of Shabbat song session, it's my favorite part of Shabbat because the energy is very contagious and I love the songs that we sing, or more like scream. This was also my first year in Anaf, so I got to join the Anaf mosh pits. After the energetic song session, we move into a slow song session. I also love the slow song session because there's a huge sense of community and everyone's voices come together and it sounds really beautiful. Shabbat song session will always remain one of my favorite camp memories. Since next year will be my last year as a camper, I'm going to sing a little louder and jump a little higher because I wouldn't trade these memories for the world.
We continue now on page 44 with the singing of the Shamru. It's not a tune that we have done here, but as I said, it's all these are favorites at GUCI, so I trust that you'll be able to follow along or hum along.
And feel free to clap along.
To you. We're going to continue ARC. I invite the congregation to please rise. We'll start in the middle of...
There is a song. ata Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem L'man Chesed Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Novlim Verofeh Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umidom Elav Melech Menit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata lechayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai Mechayeh hakol
52.
Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yechalucha selah Baruch ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to invite Mary Schwartz to the bima.
This prayer, the Hoda'ah, is all about being thankful for what you have. I am thankful for things like my parents and my friends. There are so many things you can be thankful for too. When I think about the word thankful, I think about how I'm really lucky to have many privileges that other kids aren't able to have. I also think about how I have many nice people in my life who care for me. Now join us to say this prayer.
Thank you, Mary. And we're going to continue together in English on page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words. Please join me. For the awareness of soul, our light within. For the world around us, so filled with beauty. For the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulacha na'eh lehodot. It's now my pleasure to invite Seth to the bima.
My favorite thing about camp is the feeling of connection, or connectiveness. I feel connected with everyone, especially during song session and services. I feel extra connected because it feels like we're all singing together with the same mouth. This feeling is what makes camp so great. I would describe it as a feeling of peace among the chaotic summer camp life. Similarly, Shalom Rav is a prayer about peace over the people of Israel. With that, turn to page 60 for Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon. Lecho hashalom, ki
continue now silently with Tefillat Halev, the prayers of our hearts.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני Tsuri, Adonai, Tsuri, Vikoali, Vikoali, Vikoali. Yehiyu leratzon, Imre fi, Vehegyon libi lefanecha, Adonai.
I guess how adaptable we are to anyone who hasn't.
Thank you, Jackson. And here comes Ethan.
And this past summer, I completed the Avodah year at GUCI, and it's something that honestly I've never done anything like it in my life. So I'm going to take you on a brief. I'm going to read to you a brief calendar of sort of the stuff that I did all summer. And so the first thing you do is you arrive early. You arrive about a week early before the other campers, and you get kind of primed for what you're in for the whole summer. You get to meet up with old friends that you haven't seen in a year, or maybe you've seen them super recently. And you reconcile old friendships, and you're assigned your first crew. In Avodah, there are 4 different crews, which you're assigned to over the course of the 9-ish weeks that you're there. And each crew is integral to how camp runs. And there are 2 ones that are required. There's kitchen crew, where you work every meal before and after in the kitchen, doing dishes, cleaning up the chadar, which is the dining hall where we eat, and just doing odd jobs here and there and helping out and making sure that everyone gets to eat. There's also maintenance crew, which is one of the dirtier crews. You clean the Beit Shemushim, the bathhouses for each of the areas, and you just go around helping fix stuff, basically. And it's super rewarding, lots of odd jobs, but it builds character, it really does. After that, you help with camper arrival. Now, I didn't, because I was on kitchen crew, and we were like preparing for lunch, I think, at that point. So I was off of the hook for that. But as cars roll into camp, you offload the luggage, and you bring it to each respective cabin, and some of them can be pretty heavy. Some people like to overpack. But all in all, again, rewarding. And you, like, as the weeks roll by, you really bond with your friends, because these are friends that you've known for some of us 13, 14 years, but for many of us 7, 8, 9 years. And you bond on a whole new level because you're around all of your friends constantly. And although they can be tiring occasionally, it's again super rewarding. It's a theme here, and it's just an awesome time. You stay up late, of course. We have quite late curfew, but and some of us have to wake up early, but it's all on a day's work. You need some free time once in a while. You hang out in the counselor-only area during the night, it's fun. you're never allowed to go in there as a camper, and it's super secretive, and it's a window into how being a counselor works, and that's a super interesting angle that most of us had not considered while being a camper. And one event that's super different is Color Wars, which we call Yom Sport. And I was lucky enough to be chosen as a captain for the first Yom Sport. There's one per session, and I was chosen to be the captain of the green team for the first session. And somehow, against all odds, we managed to win. I don't know how. And I didn't expect it, my co-captains didn't expect it, but we won. And it was, like, quite simply one of my favorite camp experiences ever. It was amazing. Oh, they'll come back on. It was awesome. And it's one of, oh, again, it's fine. I'll pretend it's not happening. And yeah, it was just great. And then comes around your first crew change, and it comes right as you're getting adjusted, acclimated to your first crew, and you're getting into the routines, and then you do something completely different. And each crew is unique. It has its own amount of free time, its own level of physical, mental, emotional toll it takes on you. For one of the more emotionally demanding ones, my third crew was Katan crew. Katan is small in Hebrew, and what that entails is you run the day camp. And so I was taking care with some of my friends of 4 to 9-year-olds for 7-ish hours per day. I was so tired at the end of every day. It was a lot, but it was super fun, and it's nothing that I would have done outside of camp. And I think that's one of the key things about camp, and especially the Avodah program, is it pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I'm talking about all this hard work we've done, but it doesn't go without reward. We do have days and nights off. We have 2 days and 2 nights per whole Avodah duration. And you do super fun stuff. Like one of our days off, we went to a concert. I don't know if anyone here knows the band Fall Out Boy, but they are like a heavy metal-ish rock. It was super out of left field, but we went to a concert, and it was so fun. And we were there till late at night. We stopped at Taco Bell at, I think, 1 a.m. We picked up a snack, and then we went back to camp. And it was just so fun. It's like an experience that, like, not many will experience outside of Avodah. And there's also times where it's just you at camp. One of these times is intercession, which is the brief 2-day-ish period between each session of campers where it's just kind of you on camp and a few counselors. And it's honestly kind of magical. Like, it's so peaceful when there aren't a bunch of kids there. And I say that in the most loving way possible, but it's a completely different type of camp, and it's something that I think is super valuable to experience. And lastly, I know this is kind of dragging on long, but we do this thing at the end of each session where our entire Avodah unit sets up a banquet for the rest of camp. And this is essentially to show our gratitude, as if we haven't shown it enough, for just camp being camp. And there's a theme, and we decorate the whole dining hall, and we choose the food, and we work like 1 or 2 people per cabin as their like kind of personal waiters. I waited for my sister's cabin. That was delightful. But it's super fun, and I had a great time, and it's just such a unique thing that I would have never done had I not done it at GUCI. And so I recommend for all these people sitting up here to try it out, and for all those people over there, it might be a little too late. Recommend it to your friends. Thank you.
So Ethan, thank you so much. So I had the ability to see Ethan every day for his first 2 weeks in the dining hall, and even snapped a picture of him doing the dishes and sent it to his mom and his grandfather. And so my question, Jamie, has his dishwashing skills transferred to Louisville? Right. Yeah, so avodah means work, by the way. So, so basically, you have the honor of paying to do everything that Ethan said, You pay for one session, but you get to stay for two. So, but next year, if Ethan goes back, or any year after, then he will get paid. So, and with Charlie here, I'm just going to give Charlie an opportunity to say a couple words about his experience at camp.
Yes, also thank you all for being flexible with switching up the schedule when I was running late, but that situation kind of reminded me of when I was working at camp, because there's lots of moments where you kind of like, you make a plan and then something happens and you have to pivot, and it was a really good experience for me to get that and to not panic in situations like that and know that it's going to be fine, and as long as everyone's having fun, that's what matters. So I know I've always had fun at GUCI. I grew up there, Gareen through and off, the youngest through the oldest unit, and then I had to leave for a couple years, and I was nervous about coming back, but I really wanted to because I just had to be a song leader. You mentioned Sam Thal. She was one of my big inspirations for song leading, and she actually gave me some advice before I worked as the head song leader this past summer, and it was really helpful. And yeah, I was nervous to come back, but everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I made new friends, and it was so fun to play music every day and introduce some new songs. And yeah, I would definitely recommend working at GUCI.
Thank you, Charlie, and I can tell you that we all enjoyed your music on a regular basis. So we're really glad that you overcame that fear and went back. And that's something that I know, just working with young people, there are times fears, right? And there are challenges. And one of the things is how do we have our feelings, and then find the what I call the emotional brain and the thinking brain. How do we put them together in a way that, yes, we have our anxiety or our fears or our worries or whatever, and then we also have that part of us that gives us the ability to say, I can do this, I'm willing to try it, or I've done this before and it was okay. And so, so I appreciate you sharing that piece of you, because I know that we have campers at times that, whether it's nervous about going to camp or other things, that that being able to face our fears is, and even as adults, right? It's all part of life. So, and I think that being at camp really helps young people experience things and learn how to navigate relationships, and how to interact with other people, and how to be independent, and how to try all kinds of new things that they might not otherwise do. So I'm obviously a big fan of camp, being that I grew up at camp and worked at a lot of URJ camps throughout the years. So with that said, I want to, I have some thank yous. I want to thank all the parents for providing dinner tonight, and for Andrew for organizing it, and for Diane for setting up the online sign-up sheet. So thank you to the parents for dinner. I want to thank Carson Blumenthal, who put together the slideshow that we got to see all those great pictures from camp during dinner. So thank you, Carson. I want to thank Beverly Tarbus, who was not able to be here tonight, but she told me that when her kids were growing up, they were not in a financial position to send her kids to camp. But after her first husband, Jerry Collins, of blessed memory, passed away, that's when she started the Jerry Collins Memorial GUCI Fund, because she wanted other kids to have the opportunity that her kids didn't have, because she had kept hearing so many great things about camp and the positive impact on the lives of young people. I want to thank Watts, and if you're on the Watts leadership team, can you just stand up so the other congregants can see you? I know we have Sandy, and we have Susan, and we have Roz. So thank you to Watts, because Watts gave a very generous donation this year to the Jerry Collins GUCI Fund, and it enabled for each of our families to help pay some of the registration for GUCI. Just so you know, GUCI is over $5,000 for 4 weeks, so it is not a cheap endeavor, but it is certainly worthwhile. But so thank you, Watts, for your generosity. And I also want to mention Jewish Heritage Fund. because they also recognize the value of going to camp, and they recognize the value of going to Israel and the impact that that has on our youth. And I think that you can see from the campers that participated and then listening to Jackson and to Ethan, who they are is partly shaped, and I would say to a good degree, to going to camp. So JHF has committed to offering 3-year scholarships for camp, and it doesn't only have to be GUCI. It's an accredited camp, and whether it's Livingston or Ben Frankel or GUCI or other camps, check it out. So the first 3 years, there's like a set amount that you get per year, and then after that, you can also apply for additional years, so it's not 3 and done. And then when you go to Israel, which all the camps have that opportunity, there is, I think it's currently $4,000 that that they're willing to offer. That trip is over $10,000. So again, it's not a cheap endeavor, but they really help make the way. And for those who become Bar Bat Mitzvah here at Temple Shalom, have each received a $3,200 scholarship certificate, $3,200 from NIFTY, from the ORJ, that helps. So again, if you take the $4,000 from JHF, and then you have $3,200, it used to be much less, but it's been increased recently to $3,200, that's over $7,000 towards a trip that's a little over $10,000. Yes, and from where? Route 1? Here in, it's not just local. Oh, okay. So thank you. So Jennifer Shensker said there's also money from Route 1. I mean, there's a lot of ways to find money. There's a discretionary fund, a rabbi's discretionary fund. I mean, I guess the bottom line I'm trying to say is that these experiences are not cheap, but they're meaningful, and that there are resources, and that I can say that as long as I'm a rabbi, no child will not go to camp or not go to Israel who wants to go because of money. And that really applies to anything. Nobody will not come to the High Holy Day service if they can't afford the price of a ticket, right? Or whatever the case may be, okay? So I just want to make that really clear. So we're fortunate with the GUCI column, the Jerry Collins GUCI Fund, with Watch, with JHF, and other resources. We are fortunate. So just keep that in mind, especially those who have really young kids. Start planting the seeds now for going to camp. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to invite Sandy Flaxman from the Watts Leadership Council up to offer a few announcements. Thank you.
One step's enough. Okay. Before I read the announcements, I just wanted to say we were very proud and really wanted to give the money we gave to Watts. And part of that money, just so you know, as you know, the sisterhood had to close out our gift shop. And we had beaucoup bucks. An embarrassment of riches, and that's where that money came. So it actually came from you because you supported the closeout sale. So I wanted to thank you for that. And please give to the GUCI Fund, okay? Then now let's do announcements. Shabbat services tomorrow begin at 10:30 a.m. Temple Shalom office hours on Tuesday and Wednesday are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. until further notice. There will be a special congregational meeting at Temple Shalom Sunday, August 27th at 4 p.m. Stay for pizza and dinner and the movie, Forgiveness, starting at 5:30. Please RSVP to Slava at engagement@templeshalomky.org or 502-830-4968. And if you don't have that number, please write it down because that's where we get all our fun. Okay. Please join us for our first and long-time chili cook-off, September 9th at 5 p.m. We hope you will indulge us with a variety of chili recipes from traditional beef, white, vegetarian, vegan, with or without beans. If you would like to enter the chili cook-off, to enter a chili in the cook-off, please contact Carrie Hatch or Fran Gershon. If you want those email addresses, I'll give them to you personally. If you wish to attend the chili cook-off but not cook, it is important that you RSVP to Slava. I already gave you that info. And to ensure that there's enough food and beverage available. 6 p.m. Saturday, September 9th is Seal Coat, and Sundays. Join us in the sanctuary for a brief Seal Coat service to dress our tourists in their high holiday whites, followed by ice cream sundaes in the auditorium. RSVP by the 6-2 Slava. That is 830-4968. On September 14th, Temple Shalom will again participate in Gift for Good Louisville. With Giving Day challenges to donors and matching funds, this is an easy way to raise funds for Temple Shalom. There will be a wine and cheese sponsored by Watts from 6 to 8 p.m. the evening of September 14th to help place donations and schmooze. Please bring your credit cards and come to hang out. For questions, call Carrie Hatch. Oh, that's it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I can see. Okay.
Right, and then after we decorate the sukkah, we're going to have like a really abbreviated service, and then we're going to go right into schmoozing in the sukkah. Men's club is going to be grilling hamburgers, hot dogs, veggie burgers, et cetera, et cetera. It'll be really fun, time to hang out. You can perform the mitzvah of taking up the lulav and etrog. Benji Burlow will be with us, and he'll also do some song sessions, so it'll be really fun. We do it every year, so I hope you'll join us. And I just want to clarify that when Sandy said we have, the two things on the 9th are really back-to-back. There'll be a chili cook-off, and then immediately following that is slichot, right, which really kicks off our High Holy Day service. So come for one, stay for both, and that's it. All right, I want to just, once again, I want to thank Charlie for being here, especially for, despite your car issues, you showed up, and I really appreciate that extra effort. And again, Travis, thanks for streaming. We're going to continue in the middle of page 283. This is a version of the Aleinu. I remember it from when I was a kid, and it'll be a call and response. We're going to repeat after Charlie, and then once we finish the English, we're just going to go, I'll say the page number, but we're going to go straight to the V'nei Emar V'haya Adonai. So please rise. I invite Calvin and Carson to the bima to open the ark.
Let us adore the ever-living God, and render praise unto you, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
287.
Emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad.
We continue on page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. If you are here to recite Kaddish for a loved one, you're invited to rise when his or her name is read aloud. Tonight, we remember Howard Rennick, Eugene Charna, Carrie Kleinman, Kenneth Satin, Dorothy Kovic, Bernice Brill, Arnold Silverman, Leo Frank, Bertha Hershkowitz, Ruth S. Easley, Harry Edelstein, Simon Hershkowitz, William A. Roberts, Frederick Smith, Richard Sharp, Edwin Baer. We're in a period of Shiva, Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Gerald Gould, and we're in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning for Patricia Barron. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may they rest in peace as we rise together as a congregation, reciting the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divarach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudasha, v'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen. O say shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, please be seated. I want to just personally say how much I appreciate the opportunity to go to camp 2 weeks at GUCI, to be on faculty, to be with our kids, to be, as they call us, rabbis in shorts, to just hang out with them, talk with them, take pictures of them. Pretty much most days I sent pictures home to parents and grandparents so they could see their campers. I think it's a source of comfort for the parents knowing that I'm there if they needed to reach out, and for the campers, not that there's not great faculty and staff, there is, but there's nothing like having your own rabbi there. But it's just a wonderful opportunity, so I'm grateful for that opportunity. And before we move to our concluding song, which you can find as the last song on our handout, who went to GUCI? Because I know we have at least one GUCI alum, right? So we have Noah Klein, who went to GUCI. And we have Faith, yes? Faye, I'm sorry, did I say Faith? Forgive me. Faye, who went to GUCI, right? And I know Eric Siegel went to GUCI. He couldn't be here because Nora's sick. And then I know that Katie went to Jacobs, right? And Jacobs wasn't there. Did anybody else here go to a URJ camp? Sheila, oh yes, Sheila, thank you. Yes, Sheila went to Osrui, Olingson Ruby, which is in Economowoc, Wisconsin. And if just in general, if you went to a Jewish summer camp, raise your hand. Wow, a lot. Awesome. And if you went to a camp, that even if it wasn't Jewish, if you went to a summer camp, raise your hand. So a lot of people here really, I think, know firsthand how valuable camp is. So I want to thank all of the campers who are here tonight, who participated. I'm proud of all of you. And I invite all of you to the Bima. Our closing song is One Day by Matisyahu. So come on up, guys, and if you know the song, join in, and yeah.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like way up, way up, way up, way up. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. One more time, one day. One day, one day, one day.
Beautiful singing, GUCI. Beautiful singing. So that's what they say at camp. That's not my line. That's a definite camp line. So turn to someone next to you. Wish them Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to ask all of us up here to stay here. And if someone can grab a picture of all of us, someone who has a camera, come take a picture of all of us. All right, guys.